Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Right, so first of all, I want to apologise that I did not go live on Tuesday. I was somewhere in between a 4 hour journey from Chiang Mai to Pai. It's 2,000 bends round in the middle of the jungle around this mountain. Well, around lots of mountains. It's just crazy, no signal. We were going to stay in Chiang Mai one more night and I was going to do it there and then come back to Pai the next morning. And it got to about 3 in the afternoon and we said, oh, if we leave now, we can make it before it's dark. So we decided to go. And then halfway through, I'm just like, oh crap, what time is it? I'm supposed to be going live in an hour. So I messaged Kimberly, but it was all a bit short notice. She didn't get my message on time. So I do apologise to those of you who did attend live or tried to attend live. And I'm here now. I'm actually going to start doing my lives on Fridays instead. It just makes more sense to me than do it in the middle of the week when things are normally a bit hectic. So, hi Parul, how are you doing? Right, so yes, today I'm talking about messenger bots with Facebook ads. So first of all, when I say messenger bot, I'm not talking necessarily about ManyChat, because what a lot of people might not know is Facebook ads actually has its own messenger bot. You can do lots of things with it that many people don't know about. Ah, thank you, Peru. Would you believe it? It's the end of rainy season now, and coming back to Pai from being south, it is so much cooler. The temperature's dropped, so I thought I would actually dry my hair for the first time in about a year. Well, probably 6 months, but yeah, thank you. Um, right, okay. So first of all, like, why would you want to use messenger bots? Why would you want to use Messenger in your Facebook ads? Well, first of all, it's a really good way to build an audience. So if you do Facebook ads, you can build an audience just by someone engaging on your posts. You can build an audience of people who engage on your posts, or people who click on a link, who view your website and so on. But people who go into your messenger, if you're using a messenger bot, they actually go into a different kind of audience, especially if you are using ManyChat. They turn into real people who you have in a list outside of Facebook, which is another good thing because people are a bit scared. Facebook owns everything. You never own anything inside Facebook. They can take it away at any moment. So it's just a good way to have things, somewhere else. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. So a reason you might want to run messenger ads could just be to start a conversation. With Facebook ads, it's not all about sell. You want people to get to know you. Maybe you want to give them some value. So you might just want to start a conversation with them. Another reason is you might not have a website. So if you don't have a website, where are you going to send them? So you can do many things with messenger bots. Once you've got them in that conversation, you don't necessarily need a website. You can collect leads from there, which was going to be my next one. You can collect leads. You can ask for email addresses, phone numbers, and so on. You can make sales from within your messenger bots, so you can actually have promotions in there. You can take payment on there. You can do it all from within a bot, and many people don't know this. Just a little fact for you: 700 million daily messenger users. I think is that Facebook. I can't remember if that's Messenger and WhatsApp, but yeah, 700 million daily. That is a lot. There's a lot of people checking their messages. They get really, really high open rates because you know what it's like if you've got a message. If you're not crazy busy, obviously you just open it, don't you? It's natural, you open it. Whereas when you're scrolling, you don't necessarily. It's not natural. It's not natural to stop scrolling. It's kind of natural to keep scrolling past something. So when something like lands in your inbox, you get really good open rates. And another little stat for you is that 57% of parents in the UK have contacted a business via Messenger within the last month. So that's a high percentage. So it shows that people are doing this. People obviously find it, a lot more effective than using contact forms on a website or maybe traditional email or calling someone up. It's just easy, isn't it? You see a business, you can send them a message, ask them a quick question, and that's it. So all these reasons kind of build a good picture about why you should be running, why you should be using Messenger in your Facebook ad strategy, because it's a really good tactic. So from within Facebook ads, there's two main types of message campaigns you can do. One of them is sponsored message, and sponsored message is just where it goes into their inbox directly. And the other one is a click to Messenger. So this is the one that looks like just a normal ad, and they get a button on the ad where they can click into Messenger. So I'll start with sponsored messages. So the pros, they're short and sweet. You don't need to spend hours and hours going over loads of different copy, testing a million different things, trying every trick under the sun to make people stop scrolling. They just arrive there, bang, in the inbox. They get the little preview that you see in Messenger normally, and that's it, it's done. You can just get your message across like that in seconds. It really doesn't take a lot of work or a lot of effort. They're good if you're using a warm audience, because if people recognize your brand and you've sent them a message, as long as they like your brand, the chances are they're going to open it. They're like, oh, I like that brand. What have they got to say? So that's another one there. So huge open rates. I've mentioned that already, but yeah, I should have got this stat ready before, but there are absolutely huge open rates. It's something like 80 to 90%. It's ridiculously high. And link with, I don't know what I've done there. I wrote MC and I thought I was talking about MailChimp. I was like, why have I written about MailChimp? I'm talking about ManyChat. So you can link it to your ManyChat or whatever bot software you use. So like within that message, you can have a button at the bottom, and then when they click that, then that will go directly into one of your flows. So a flow just means like a collection of messages and prompts that go in a certain order. So even though you're only allowed to send one sponsored message, as long as they click on that button that you give them, then they can go into your whole world basically. So even though you're only allowed a tiny bit of information in there, as long as they're interested and they click, then you've got them, so you don't need to worry about that either. And they are super cheap. You can reach a hell of a lot of people. You can send 1,000 messages. I think the bidding starts at £25. So imagine getting your direct message into their inbox for that amount of money. It's just a no-brainer, really. If you've got something that they already know you, that you think they're going to be interested in, then you can get really, really great conversion rates on there. There obviously are some cons to this. So you cannot I said it works well with a warm audience, but you cannot actually target a cold audience. They have to have some kind of conversation with your business already, basically. So you need to have built up an audience first. Another con is you need time to run. So if you've got an event happening in like less than a day and you're like, quick, let's send this message out, it's not necessarily going to work, because people can only receive so many sponsored messages in a day. It's not like Facebook where it's not like in a feed where they can keep scrolling, see multiple ads within an hour. There's only space for one. So if you're not bidding high enough, or if there's like other people bidding at the same time, or if the person who you want to reach has already had their sponsored message, then it could take like a few days before it starts, before they see it. So you need to allow yourself about a week really to give it the chance to get to everyone who you want to see, depending on the size of your audience, and so on. And the other thing is the characters are limited. So again, I didn't check this before. I don't know why. Why do I not check things before I do a live? I think it's 150 characters that you're allowed, might be 125. So it is a very short message, but that goes hand in hand with the pro, that you're keeping it short and sweet. So those are your sponsored messages. 57% for all. Yeah, it's a really high amount, isn't it? Like, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I messaged a business, but apparently this is what people are doing. So especially if your target audience are parents, then brilliant. Hey Gemma, how are you doing? Hey Chanel, thank you, my lovely. Right, okay, so the other ones, so click to message. So these you can show to absolutely anyone, cold audience, warm audience, whoever you want, and they just look like normal ads. So the only difference is when they click the button, it opens up their messenger rather than opening up like a website or a leads form or whatever else. One of the cons of doing these is that it kind of does need a little bit of trust. Even if you're allowed to target a cold audience, it doesn't mean it's always a good idea, because it's a bit like filling in a lead form, People think if they send you a message, then you're going to have their information. normally it says that, it says if you start a conversation with them, they're going to have access to your name, email address, phone number, which if you use like ManyChat or something, that is the case. So it does sometimes need a bit of trust, or you just need to give a really, really good incentive, a really good reason for them to click into it. They're not just going to start a conversation with you for nothing. Because with the Facebook rules, once someone has interacted with your messenger, you have 24 hours which you're allowed to send them whatever you want, basically. Many people probably think it's longer. They might think that you can contact them over and over again for a week or a month. Like, most people aren't going to know those rules as well, so that could also put people off. It just looks like a normal ad. I don't know why I wrote that. So the different, like, the reasons why I said you can do this, to start a conversation, to build your audience, lead gen, sales. So like, basically I'm just going to talk about the ways you can actually do this. So for starting a conversation and audience building, you can literally just write an ad and say, let me know what you think. It doesn't have to be super complex. It doesn't have to have buttons and forms and fields and things like that. It can literally just be like, click here and tell me what you think about that. And when you go into Facebook Ads Manager, Business Manager, like, you don't need any third-party software or anything. From within the ad, it gives you the option to select what you want your message to say when they click into it, and then you get a lot of different options after that. So you can either give them the option to type freely, or you could, for example, give them a multi-choice question. You can ask them like different things just to get them talking, basically. You can include an image or a video in there, so you can jazz it up with your brand or with something to back up what you're saying. If you match that up to the image you've got in your ad, then that sort of adds a bit of consistency, so people will know they're in the right place. They'll be like, oh yeah, this is what I clicked on, I've got to this. You can do FAQs in there, so it might just be, learn more about something, click here to learn more, and then you list like all of your FAQs. So you could put in there, for example, the things that worry people about taking steps further with your brands. People are saying, oh, am I going to be tied to a contract? Am I going to be this? Their objections, basically. You can handle their objections in the form of FAQs. So that's another good way to do it. It's also got the options to either add buttons or add quick replies. So a quick reply is when you preempt their answer. So you could put 3 quick replies, like, I'm already in, still thinking about it, not interested, is one example. It could be something silly, like, what's your favorite color? Purple, orange, or blue, something like that. And then once they click on that quick reply, you can have it set up so that if you're using, for example, ManyChat, I'm just going to keep using ManyChat as a bot example because I don't use any others, and ManyChat are the industry leading. So when they click on that, for example, you could send them a specific message depending on how that's set up. And you don't need to integrate the two. You don't need any complex coding or anything like that to make it work. You literally just have a keyword trigger, so that when they click that button, it basically sends that message to you, and then that triggers the next messages. So you can get them into a whole conversation. You can find out loads about your audience, get people really excited about something, just loads of different things like that, basically. So that is starting a conversation and audience building, because once they go into your message, again, you've just added them into your audience, so you've then got them there forever. If you don't use that audience within 24 hours, like I said, you can't contact them, but then you can then later use a sponsored message for super duper cheap, and get to them that way. But you've got them in your audience for a year, so once they've done something, they're in there for a year, basically. And you can do a sponsored message at any time to use that. So the next one was lead gen. So a bit like with your lead forms, where if you do a lead forms campaign, you can ask different questions. You can have qualifiers. A qualifier just means, imagine if you only allow certain people to do something. Like, imagine if your audience have to have a business already. You could have a question in there that says, are you a business owner? And then if they say no, you'd send a message to say, oh, sorry, but you're not suitable. So you're actually like cutting down the extra admin. You're not going to get loads of low quality leads. And then if they say yes, you'll send them on to the next step. So with the message campaigns, you can ask questions in the same way that you can do it in the lead forms. So you can ask all the normal questions, things like email address, telephone number, address, and then all these additional questions which qualify them as a lead. And then once you've got them in there, you can either download it from Facebook, or it will have gone into your software, like your bot software basically. So it's just a really great way of generating leads, especially if you've not got a landing page. So they don't need to click through to a website. You don't need to make a website. They just go into your Facebook Messenger, and then it's all just done through there, automated. And like I said, you can do that from within Facebook ads. You don't need any other software to do it. The thing about that is you must have a privacy policy somewhere. Now, I did this before a long time ago for something with Facebook, I can't remember, or maybe it was a client that didn't have a website. If you don't have a website, if you don't have a privacy policy, you can actually create a document inside your page in the notes section and use that as a privacy policy and put the link to that, because I've done it before and it worked. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do that, but it worked, and it's still there, isn't it? It's a document, you're sending them to that. So that's just something to let you know. And with the questions such as like email, age, gender, Facebook will actually auto-populate those answers, so the user doesn't have to like think about anything. They can just press the answer and it'll go through. So it just makes it really easy for them to interact with you, again in the same way as the lead forms campaigns, but you're just doing it in a different place basically. Like the difference between using the lead forms campaigns and this is that you're getting them into your audience, whereas with the lead forms campaigns, you're just keeping them in a Facebook audience rather than adding them to an off Facebook audience. So it's definitely got its pros there. Although a lead form, it might be easier to get them to look at the form, because they don't have to click into a message to see it. So they've always got their pros and cons. And then I just wanted to, in fact, I'll just double check, I've got some comments here. Parul said, Chanel, I agree. Is it the road trip? Yes, it is. I'm refreshed. I've been away for a month and it's nice to be home. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Boo didn't wake up till 7 this morning either, which was nice. He's been waking up at like 6ish recently, and I know that's not late for a lot of you guys, but that's that's not early for a lot of you guys, but that's pretty early for me. Right, okay, so finally, I'm sorry that sorry if I've rushed through this. Let me know if you've got any questions at all. If I wasn't doing it on Facebook, I could do like a demo or something, or later I can do if anyone wants it. But yeah, so if you're using software like ManyChat, so some of the things I've said before, like you don't need it for anything that I've said before, but if you are going to use software like ManyChat or whatever software you use, the possibilities are literally endless. As soon as you've got them in there, you can do whatever you want with them. So you could like send them a series of like questions or prompts. You can do things like, you can put time delays on there, so you can send them like information and then set it to like wait 22 hours because it's within 24 hours, so you've got to contact them, and then send them something else, to prompt them, to remind them. You can create a quiz. We were going to do this recently. Chanel was going to do this for her challenge actually, but it can be quite complex creating a quiz because you've got to like work out every small answer, a possible outcome, and like you could do it like with a point scoring system or something, but you've got to like create this giant flow diagram. It can get really complicated, but if you've got that kind of brain who can do that, then that's like a really fun way to get people into your network. I actually plan on doing this soon. As soon as I've done my next sort of like business to do, then I'm going to be doing this. It's going to be a what type of campaign should you run quiz, and so I'm going to set it up so that you need to just answer a few questions like, what is it that you sell, what size audience do you have, do you have a website, blah 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 blah, and then at the end it's going to tell you what kind of campaign you should run. So I'm really excited about that. But you can do things like that. It could be a lot less complex than that. If you've got like a tangible product, it could be about like what colors work with what or something. It's just like a fun way of getting people engaged, getting people into your audience. So like if you're using software like ManyChat, you can use menus. So as soon as people get in there, you can list like different services that you do, or you could like segregate it by what kind of person they are. So you could be like, first of all, are you a business owner? Yes or no. If they say no, send them one way. If they say yes, send them another way. You can show them your products, like you can do it like carousel style. You can do it loads of different styles. And then they can actually purchase from within the bot. So I mentioned that before. So you can integrate your bot with like PayPal, Stripe, with email software, with Zapier. If you don't know what Zapier is, it's just some software where you can set it to do stuff automatically. So you know, like really boring tasks, like having to add things onto a spreadsheet, you can set loads of stuff up so it automatically does that. You could like add them onto a spreadsheet, then add them to ActiveCampaign and send them an email. Loads of things like that is you can integrate it with those. And then I've already mentioned this before, but no website needed. So I've absolutely whizzed through that. So I hope that's all made sense. I will wait a few minutes just to see if anyone's got any questions. And I hope you are all doing well. And meanwhile, just to let you know, next Tuesday we have the lovely Mary Turner Thompson, who is going to be doing a live about promoting books on Facebook, which I'm really excited about because it's a very specific niche. So she's obviously done that successfully quite a lot, and it'll be really interesting to hear her. That's one for you, Parul, actually. If you haven't seen it, check out the upcoming event promoting a book on Facebook. So yeah, let me know if you've got any questions. Otherwise, I think my next live in this group is going to be, mine are always going to be on the Fridays from now on. So just to make you aware, we might need to change some events, and I think I'll be doing a Q&A on the next one, because I just wanted to sort of know what you guys want help with, what do you guys want to know, and things like that. So I hope this has been useful. Let me know if you're watching on a replay. And yeah, like I said, leave any questions. Lots of love. Thank you very much for watching.